Hey everyone, this is Anna presenting to you the coastal processes and landforms of Guyana. Let's begin with the location. Guyana is located in South America, to the right of Venezuela and to the left of Suriname. Its coast is the Atlantic Ocean. The prevailing winds of Guyana are the northeast trade winds, as you can see from the diagram on the left. And the map on the right shows the tides in relation to the winds. And that is a great transition to talk about tides. The tides off Guyana's coast are semi-diurnal, which means it has two high tides each day, depending on whether the tide is spring or neap, which is affected by the moon cycle. It is classified as mesotidal or microtidal. The fetch distance is the distance over which wind blows, which we learned about in class. Using Google Earth, I found that the maximum distance is about 5,000 miles, while the minimum distance is only about 600 miles. Okay, next is plate boundary type. The red arrow points to Guyana's location, which is in the middle of the South American plate. Being in the middle of the plate shows that the coast is passive, which means there are no mountains or volcanoes along the coast. And the colorful world map that I have on there shows other passive coasts wherever the yellow line is. Guyana is very vulnerable to sea level changes because of climate, and scientists predict that in 2100, the sea could rise by as much as 6.6 feet. The map at the bottom of the screen shows exactly what the title says. The regions that are vulnerable to sea level rise. And though the picture is really small, I'm sorry about that, Guyana has dark colors that are close to the left end of the scale, showing that they are highly vulnerable to sea level rise. The picture on the right shows a seawall, which is a way to prevent flooding and protects the coast. About 50% of Guyana's coast has these protective seawalls. Now I will discuss sediment and currents. I found a study that said longshore currents are difficult to measure off Guyana's coast because there are so many factors. But the velocity range is 0.15 to 0.5 meters per second, as you can see on the graph on the right. Guyana's coast is made up of mudflats, mangroves, and cheniers. These definitions are on the right, and if you look at the number, you can see a picture of each of these features. Now, Guyana's coast is not like most others. It is mostly muddy marshes that slope downward to the ocean. And I actually went to Guyana in 2011, and these are two pictures that I took of the coast. The one on the left is the Atlantic Ocean. You can see how there is a gradual slope to the ocean, and it's not really your typical beach scene. I added the picture on the right to show how close the water level is to the land. The area is really prone to flooding, and the people who reside here are highly affected. A fun fact to know is that 90% of the population lives in the coastal region, which is only 5% of the land mass of the entire country, and this is because of the nutrient-rich soil. Also, the coast of Guyana is not really a tourist dream, but some people might be interested in the fishing industry like Connor. In the RASP that I looked at, scientists use a GIS-based analysis in order to predict erosion and accretion of Guyana's coast. Map 1 shows the location at which they studied. Map 2 shows the areas of erosion, which is the dark gray, and accretion, which is the light gray. And 3 shows a graph of sediment volume over several decades. They found that Guyana's coast is currently in a time of erosion. Thank you guys very much, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.